So this is the new Wltoys 124017. This is the version 2, which replaces the version 1 that is over there. In a minute, I'll show you the differences. This is the one to buy though if you're looking for a crazy fast buggy. It's a 112 scale and it's relatively cheap. Make sure you avoid that version 1. So we'll have a quick overview of the buggy and what you get, and then we'll have a look at the difference between that and this. So if you want to make sure you get a version 2, check the links in the description. If you don't want to use the links in the description, you want to buy it from somewhere else, I'm going to show you in this video how you can tell between the version 1 and the version 2. Let's have a look. So a little while ago, Wltoys brought out this 124017, and it's pretty much a clone of the LC Racing. But there was a little bit of an issue with this, and it was over geared. Now I did point that out in my initial video, however I didn't really find it a massive problem on this one. Their other version, the 016, is more like a desert buggy. That had even worse cogging problems, and it caused them to actually make a version 2. So if you bought a version 1, you're probably not going to want to give Wltoys any more of your money, which I understand. If you spend money on something, you want it to actually perform out the box. And although this one I didn't find any massive issues with it, it still wasn't perfect. Anyway, there's now version 2. I've tested the 016 and it is an absolute animal, and I'm hoping that this one is going to be the same. So let's have a quick look under the hood, and then we're going to get straight out and we're going to give this thing a rip. So in the box you get a set of instructions, you get a USB charger and you get a wheel hex. You get a transmitter. Now this has been updated as well, because I forgot to mention the older one, the range was absolutely crap on the version 1. The range has been sorted out and I've tested that as well, and the range is definitely better. The way to tell is the controller has a blue wheel on it rather than just a plain one, so that is the newer updated controller. Inside the buggy you've got a little mini 3-wire servo in there. There's a cap pack for your I think it's a 60 amp ESC that should be able to handle 3S, which I am going to test in another video. Then you've got your brushless motor, I believe, is it a 24-35? I can't remember what size brushless it is. It's basically a 390 cam. It's 4,300 kV, and then there's your receiver. So separate ESC and receiver finally on one of these Wltoys. They usually come with like a 2-in-1, whereas this one is all separate, like hobby grade stuff. You get some big bore alloy shocks, which always feel nice on these things. You get a set of off-road tyres. Again, compound feels good, and they look really nice as well. They do have like a clear film on them. I would leave that on until after the first time you run it in some dirt, and you can peel it off and they look new again. Same with the body. The body comes with a clear film on it, so leave it on. After it's got a bit dirty, peel it off, good as new. Fully adjustable camber and toe, so fully adjustable turnbuckles there. Fully adjustable camber at the rear. It has got metal gears throughout. The spur is plastic. It has got metal drive shafts or metal CVDs. The problem, these are quite weak. They're quite soft, so you will end up probably bending one of them. They do bend back pretty easy, and I believe you can get some upgraded ones. One of the other weak spots is that like steering knuckle. It usually snaps up there, so you can get metal ones of them. I'll leave a link to them in the description, but these are really cheap to buy, so always worth getting a couple of them. I can guarantee you, if you have a dodgy landing like that, you will snap one of them. So get some spares in so it doesn't ruin your day if you have a bad jump on the first go out. You also get a 2,200 milliamp hour 25C 2S LiPo, which I'm currently charging. So side by side, they look almost identical. The only differences that you'll be able to see is the newer one has got a blue motor mount. This one's got the standard like gold sort of brass coloured. And the reason for the different mount is because this one's got a 19 tooth pinion on it, so you can see it's got different mounting holes in there. That one's got a 27 tooth pinion. So the mistake they made, that motor's 3,400 kV, that one's 4,300. So they've upped the kV, which means more revs per minute, so more RPM. So they've geared down, but it spins faster. So that thing does 40 mile an hour, and that thing does about 40 mile an hour as well. I don't think I've done a proper speed run on that. I think I got 38 when I tested it, but it's just as fast, and it actually accelerates quicker, or it will accelerate quicker, because it's geared lower. The mistake they made by over-gearing is they put the same gearing on there as they did with the brushed one, but the problem with that is the brushed one's got a big 550 motor, which has got bags of torque, so it's got enough to actually deal with that gearing, whereas that brushless, because it's a slightly smaller can, it's not quite got the oomph to power this from standstill. That's why you get a little bit of cogging. But they've sorted it out with a smaller pinion and a faster rotating motor. So this, if it's anything like the 016, is going to be an absolute weapon. So how do you tell if it's a version 2? Well, like I said, the controller will have a blue wheel rather than a plain silver one, and the motor mount will be anodized blue like that. Anyway, let's wait for that battery to charge and let's take this thing out and give it a rip. I'm going to take it to the same place I took that one originally, but this thing is going to rip that grass to shreds. Let's go. Guys, I messed up the audio in the end of this video and the running footage. I forgot my mic, so I had to use the GoPro one. And I also had the wrong settings on the GoPro, so it's picking up everything in front of the camera and not my voice. I've shortened it as much as I can just to make it as painless as possible. I'll do better next time. Guys, I'm having to use GoPro audio. I forgot my mic. It's probably going to sound absolute toss. Anyway, I've switched it on. It's wet grass, it's relatively long. The perfect terrain to have some cogging. So let's just pin the throttle and see what happens. Yeah! So that answers that question. This thing has been fixed. I kind of knew it had anyway because I've obviously reviewed the 016. So fast. So these are good for 40 mile an hour. I've speed run the desert buggy version, bang on 40 mile an hour, and this is no slouch. They jump well as well. A bit of a weak one, wasn't it? I don't want to have a dodgy landing. It's really annoyed me that I forgot my mic. I hate using the GoPro audio. Oh, look at that. Glides like a butterfly. Wow. Man, this thing's a beast. I love it. This one seems to handle a bit better, I think because of the weight distribution with the lower... Oh. Handles better. You all know the score with that. I should never say it because I just roll over all the time. Anyway, I think the lower centre of gravity of this one compared to the 016 just means it handles that little bit better. See, I told you. Every time I say it handles. I nailed about 3 or 4 jumps without saying a word. Let's just not say anything this time. There you go. Say nothing and you can land it. And again. Oh, not that time. So fast. So fast. Anyway guys, I'm going to get some cool action shots now. This thing is mental. What did I say about the steering knuckle? That was a pretty disastrous landing. I don't think I got it on camera, but yeah, that was pretty heavy. So yeah, get yourself some spare steering knuckles or buy the metal ones. Anyway, this thing's awesome. Cheers for watching, guys.